Okay, so today what we're going to look at is how to create a program. I'm going to use a photoresistor to tell two different colored blocks apart. So let's start with being sure that I have my system set up. I have my controller plugged in. I double check to be sure that RoboTX is selected here. I'm going to click the COM USB. RoboTX is selected here, USB Bluetooth is selected here, and I'm going to click OK. I do want to connect by USB, so I click OK. Right. Now the next thing I want to do is open my test interface and be sure everything is running. I have my lamp plugged into M4, right, and so I'm going to turn that on. I can see that I'm connected to my controller here with this green bar. I have a photoresistor plugged into I8. So I'm going to do analog 5 kilo ohm. Right? And currently there is a blue block in there, and I'm getting a reading of about 795 for a blue block. Now I'm going to check to be sure and see what I have here on a red reading. Right, and I have 477 for the output here. Okay, then when I have nothing, I have 1049. So when I start my program, I'm going to do it based on those numbers. So I always start with the green man, right? And I'm using light for a control system. So the very first thing I want to do is turn the lights on that represent my control system. So drag the motor icon in. I do have it wired as a motor today. It's a lamp. I have it plugged into M4. I'm going to turn it on. Now my system is actually a little testing station, and so I sit the block in the testing station. I press the button I1 and then it will do the test. So what I would like to do is, until I press the switch I1, I want it to keep waiting there. So I'll just hook that up like that. Now I'm going to test my switch. Look here, and you can see that it's changing. So that works. So when that comes in, the next thing I'd like to do is evaluate which color it is. All right, I have the photoresistor plugged into I8. And it is a photoresistor, right? And I say OK. I can't really remember what the numbers are off the top of my head. It seems like the blue was about 800, so let me drop that back in and test it. Yep, actually it is exactly 800 this time. And the red is something like, okay, less than 500. So that's a good variation between those things, and we'll be able to make a clear decision on that. So let's say, since the red one's in there, it's like 477 right now. So if I8 is greater than, let's just give it a little leeway since they're a good distance apart, and we'll say 550. Okay? Alright, so if I8 is greater than 550, alright, no would be a red, because see, there's a red block there. Now it's 483, so 483 is not greater than, right? So the first thing I want to do then is increment. I'm going to actually count my blocks, blue and red. Okay, so here in commands is where I can find the counters that would increment variables. Now I have to hook the variables to them, right? And here's a variable box. I'm going to right click and name this one blue. Okay, and I'm going to put one in here, right click, name this one red. Okay? Alright, so now that we have that done, I would like, after it tests, for it to go back up to the top. Alright? And start over and wait for me to press the button again. Alright, need to wire this one in. Okay, and so there you go. Okay, so Guys, I know overall this isn't the whole problem I want to do and how I want to do this today, but what I'm trying to do is show you how to break down and test. Now I already know I'm going to encounter a problem here, but I want you to be able to see that when you're working. So I'm going to go ahead and start this and show you what happens. I have a red block loaded, and when I press the button, okay, look how many times it incremented red. Alright, so remember what's happening is everything's moving through here at the speed of an electron. My fingers don't move quite that fast. Okay, so see how many incremented? That's a problem. So I'm going to stop the program, and I knew that was going to happen, but I wanted you to see it. Alright, so I'm going to put in a little timer here. Okay, and when I do that, it's going to give me enough time to make the reading and move on. Alright, so after I make that timer, do the timer, I want to loop back up to the top. Okay, and I just want to come back here and wait for I1 to change again. So this time let's run it. Okay, I still have the red block loaded, and I press the button and it tests. Then that was a red one. Okay, so now I'm going to load a blue block. I press the button and the blue incremented. Alright, I'm going to test a blue block again. Alright, so that's working just fine. Now what I'd like to do is I'd like to make a decision that once I've run a total of 5 blue blocks, I want the program to stop. Alright, so to do that I need a branch function that makes it based on a variable, not based on one of these inputs. So I'll take the branch here. Okay, I got that under branch. Now you see this is tan, so it wants me to tie another tan thing to it, so I can put a variable to it. Now remember, these variables are linked by name, and I'm going to name this one blue. Right? And when that becomes greater than or equal to 5, what I'd like to do is stop. So looking at this icon, when A is greater than or equal to 5, okay, and A is blue, something's going to happen. So if it's no, I just want the program to continue running. So I'm going to wire that back up to the top. Just run it right in here. Oops, let me fix that. Alright, and then if it's yes, alright, I'm ready for my program to terminate then, and I'll stop the program. Alright, oops, it's not connecting. Let me scroll down here, drag this in. Alright, so now I'm going to run my program and let you see how it works this time. And I have a blue block loaded. I press the button and test, and off we go. Now I'm going to load a red block and test, and that works as well. So I'll test the red block again, and you see that my red has incremented here. I'm going to just test the blue block out so that you can see what happens. Now we have 2 blue, 3 blue, 4 blue, and this is the 5th blue, so the program should terminate, and it does. Well, I hope that helps you some. See how to use variables, increment counters, and then make a decision based on those.